Welcome everyone. Let's begin our throat chakra practice today by using a block to prop up our heart. Place the block underneath your chest in between the shoulder blades, horizontally or vertically. If you'd like a second block to rest underneath your head to allow for less tension in your neck, feel free to do so. Otherwise, allow for your head to meet the ground, and in this way, the front of the throat begins to receive some awareness and energy. You can have your knees bent with your feet standing, and if at any point it becomes uncomfortable, you can remove the block or reposition the block so that it is comfortable. Find a couple of deep open mouth exhales to clear and draw energy to the throat chakra. The throat chakra is located at the throat and the larynx. It's specifically associated with the esophagus, the entire mouth cavity, as well as the ears. Today, I invite you to bring your awareness to this space throughout practice by cultivating a breath that's soothing and peaceful for you. If at any point you lose focus or are not connected to your breath, please bring your attention back to inhaling and exhaling. Allow for your mind to do its job and wander about without giving the mind too much attention and focus. Can you also notice the way that your breath sounds? How you receive the rhythm and the pace of your breathing? And in this way, you also connect with the sense that's associated with this chakra, the sense of hearing, of deep listening. A listening that involves finding your own voice, finding your own truth. And when I say that, if it triggers previous experiences, I invite you to let those experiences go. Let go of the preconceived ideas or memories of what it means to be living in your truth. Let go of what it means to speak your truth, to live a truthful way, and just let this practice be about listening to yourself, who you are right now, knowing that we're always changing, we're always growing and evolving. Even in those times or those moments where we feel we are stuck or held back, we're still growing, still learning. To become even more acquainted with this center, please create a gentle humming within the back of your throat if that feels soothing and okay with you. A gentle hum. You can continue the humming for as long as feels good. Or return to observing your breath, the inflow and the outflow of your natural breath. If you know that this is an energy center you prefer to bring more energy into, then I encourage you to practice Ujjayi pranayama by constricting the back of the throat, hugging the muscles around the esophagus as though you were trying to fog up glass, letting the airway become slightly more constricted, thus controlling the pace and the rhythm and the air that's coming into your being and out of your being. Very slowly, in a way that requires little to no effort, could you roll off of your block to one side, remove the block off of your space, and lay down on your back? Guide your knees into your chest and lower your knees over to one side. Here you can stack the knees for a knee-to-knee twist. Let your awareness travel up and down your spine in order to rotate all the way from the middle back to the upper back and even through the neck. Maybe your gaze turns away from the direction of your knees to stretch and release the neck. And continue to follow your breath throughout this practice today. In your own timing, return back to center very slowly. Carefully lower your knees to the opposite side. As you inhale, you could perhaps encourage lengthening your spine up and down. And as your exhale comes naturally, a gentle twist. I find these twists to be very soothing when they're passive, without too much force, but with a little bit of direction. We can gain clarity and insight to the parts of our body that would like to perhaps receive more air, more breath, a little more energy and prana. Please slowly guide your knees and your feet back to center. Lift your right leg and cross your right ankle on top of your left thigh, supine figure 4. Deepen the stretch by guiding your left knee towards your chest and interlace your hands behind your left leg. Here, the feet can remain flexed to alleviate some tension in your right hip, piriformis, and glute. Aim to lengthen the nape of the neck, as this is our focus for today, creating length and elongation and awareness. And you might find a gentle rocking from side to side to be quite alleviating. Then begin to straighten your left leg up towards the sky, followed by your right. Starting on the right side, place your left foot down. Exhale, bend the knee, open the leg to the right. Straighten your leg as much as feels comfortable, circle it around and re-extend up. Complete a couple more rounds at your own pace. The next time your right leg extends up, ground through the lower back and reach your left leg up. Then switch sides, figure 4, cross your left ankle on top of your right thigh. Can you allow for your breath to soothe and to comfort you? Slowly release your right foot down. Straighten your left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, bend your left knee to your chest. Open the leg to the left. Extend the leg straight. Circle it down and around and forward and up. Exhale to bend the knee, rotate at the hip joint externally. Then point the toes up and inhale, carry the leg up to center. Each round, explore your relationship with your back body on the earth. Is it possible to maintain a strong, solid connection between the back and the ground? The next time that your left leg rises up through center, please extend your left leg up as well. Interlace your hands behind your head and, focusing less on doing a sit-up, could you bring your chin down into your chest to stretch the back of your neck? You can hold here and make small adjustments to flatten the lower spine down and pull the ribs in. You can also bend your knees and place your feet to the floor if this feels more supportive. Recruit the strength of your core rather than using your neck to hold your head up. Let your arms do more of the work for you. Breathe into the opening behind your throat and the back of your neck, and it may feel good to rotate your head from side to side using your arms as the support. When you feel complete, lower your head back down very slow and carefully. Keep your hands behind your head and lower your elbows towards the ground. Then exhale, bring your elbows to frame your face, lift your head up away from the floor, and re-lower the head back down, release the elbows to the ground. And we'll do this here quite a lot of times. Bring the elbows towards each other, lift the head as high as feels comfortable. You're not doing a sit-up, but rather you're stretching the neck. And then lower back down. Make sure you take a full rest when the elbows come down before starting again. If you find that you're engaging your core as though you were doing a sit-up, please, I want to encourage you to focus less on this as a core activity and more about relating to the back of the neck. Go ahead and take a rest. Release your head down. Perhaps reach your arms overhead for a stretch. And then please, will you keep your arms overhead, ground through your feet, and lift your hips from the floor. Place your feet into a position that offers comfort, ease, and stability. And then lower your hips back down, one vertebrae at a time. And again, inhale, will you lift the hips away from the floor, place the weight into the upper shoulders and maybe behind the throat. Only lift as high as what feels comfortable, and then will you lower back down as you exhale. My goal here is for you to experience perhaps a sense of strength in the upper back and even an opening. So could you allow for the scapula, the shoulder blades to separate away from the spine to create a sense of openness? And when you lift your hips away from the ground, press your feet down as though you were trying to reach your head further back towards your hands. The next time your hips come down, leave them there. Bring your head up, your knees to your chest, and round yourself into a little ball. Rock, if you will, side to side for a gentle massage behind your lower back. And will you roll up to seat? Find a block close by and place the block underneath your knees. If you find that it's difficult to sit upright here, place a block or a bolster underneath your hips so that you can allow for your hips to tilt slightly forward. Then vertebrae by vertebrae, will you slowly round your back forward from your tailbone to your lower part of the back, the upper part of your lower back. And every inhale, once again, you look for length, down and up. And the exhale, a sweet surrendering forward. Behind the heart, above the heart, inch by inch, each part of the vertebrae, the spine rounding forward, and the neck, all the way up to the head. When you feel like you are fully maxed out in your forward fold without tension or force, you could take another block or the block underneath your knees and remove it. Place the block underneath your head so that your head can rest on something. Please place your props in a way so that you're not straining or forcing yourself to reach down, but they're placed in a position that offers you comfort while also a bit of growth. Given that we have two sides to each energy center, the back and the front, the receiving and the giving, the forward folds really help me to feel like I'm receiving throat chakra energy, the ability to communicate truthfully, to be integral with my words and my actions, and to fully step into the role of being the best version of myself as I can be each day. Perhaps you find this as well, or if you'd like to welcome in more energy of this sort, you can chant the mantra Hum, H-A-M, hum, hum. Very carefully, will you start to place the weight of your body into your bum? Drive down through your legs and roll up through your spine. Remove your blocks and bolsters and props off to the side. Place your hands behind you. Bend your knees, stand your feet, and inhale, arch your back. You can stay here finding cat-cows, or if you'd like to take it a little bit further, apply pressure through your hands and feet, and inhale, reverse tabletop, lift your hips from the ground. You might find a flow here that welcomes in movement to your spine, or you might hold reverse tabletop, and you can release your head back behind you to further open the front line of the body. Gradually release your hips to the floor. Guide the soles of your feet together, Baddha Konasana. You can massage your feet with your hands. I know that's a common liking in this position. And we'll do the same thing here. Find your props. Use the support of your blocks to assist you in these positions. As you round your spine forward, find the place that feels comfortable, but also where you feel you can experience a little bit of a stretch. Over the course of the next few minutes, you might find that the pose becomes more comfortable, and you can remove the blocks or lower the blocks down to different heights. If you find that you're straining or reaching or there's a lot of effort, please reposition yourself so that it's comfortable and relaxing. Return to observing your breath. As you inhale and your body and your lungs fill up and inflate, slowly rise back to seated. Very carefully let your head be the last thing to lift. Remove the props to the side. You can place your hands back behind you and bring your knees together. Guide your knees side to side, perhaps turning your head in opposition of your knees, just like we did when we were lying down on our back. In your own timing, transition forward into a tabletop pose, however is most comfortable for you to get there today. Widen your knees, child's pose. Sit the hips to the heels. Lower your head down to the ground. You're more than welcome to place a bolster underneath your torso or blocks for your head. Position yourself so that you're really finding a comfortable place to rest. You're more than welcome to stay resting here. Otherwise, if you'd like to find some more movement, press down through your hands and shins and come up into a tabletop position. As you exhale, shift your hips forward to your wrists, and you can bring your toes towards the back of your head. Option 1. Then press back into child's pose. Option 2, you can press into an upward facing dog or a cobra pose, and feel free to leave your toes tucked if you'd like, creating a nice sensation in the feet. And then again, press back into child's pose. And can you do this slow and steady to move the spine in all its many variations, from full flexion to full extension? And perhaps you might find a gentle twist as the shoulders roll back away from the ears. Again, just moving in a way that feels comfortable and organic to you. We'll make our way down onto the belly. Release your head to one side and rest your arms down by your waist. Passive neck stretch. You can let your hands rest under your head if that feels more comfortable for your neck. And can you sense the contact between your body and the floor? And notice where you're storing any unnecessary tension. And consciously, will you relax the tension in the body from the toes, up the legs, through the belly and the chest, the arms, the neck, and the head. Is it possible to sense a gentle rising and falling as your breath moves through your body? Very slowly, will you think about lifting your head and transitioning it to the other side at your own pace? And then will you actually physically do that? And observe between the two sides the relationship. How one cheek might sit on the floor slightly different than the other. The relationship between the left and the right side. Very carefully, will you press your pelvis down and return your head back to center. Slide your palms underneath your shoulders. Inhale, cobra pose slowly or up dog. Exhale, tuck your chin, child's pose with the toes tucked or untucked. Slowly move into a tabletop and transition to downward facing dog. Pick your right foot up, bring your right knee to your chest, and lower the shin down towards the right wrist. Half pigeon. You can stay upright or use props to place underneath your torso and your head to offer support as you come forward. Resting here in your half pigeon, I invite you to bring your breath down into your hips, building this relationship with your gracefulness, with your ability to change, to nurture yourself and others, to have your healthy boundaries established in order to communicate your truth, to live your truth, to know what it feels like to be empowered in your creative expression. Even if you don't feel certain of what your truth is, or you feel like there's not a lot of clarity on what you feel called to doing in this life, trust that you are taking the steps in order to find it, and that by doing so, this is part of your truth. By taking the time to connect with your breath and your body, this is your purpose, to get to know yourself. In your own timing, make your way back up to downward facing dog and transition to the other side for half pigeon on the left side. Still maintaining awareness of breath, gradually rise up and transition back, downward facing dog. Inhale to look forward towards your hands and gradually walk your feet forward to the space behind your wrists. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen your spine, and exhale, fold forward with the knees bent if you like. Tuck the chin firmly into the throat to alleviate more sensation in the neck. You can interlace your hands behind your neck here, letting the weight of your elbows assist the length of the spine. Perhaps a gentle rocking from side to side will give even more sensation. Wonderful. Now please release your hands down. Take your time, bend the knees and roll up to standing. Let the head be the last thing to stack on top of the ankles. Notice the length that you've created in and around your physical body. Is there perhaps a sense of restfulness that you could identify so that the body remains supple, receivable, open? Maintaining awareness of breath, inhale, lift your arms up over your head, lengthen your side body, and exhale, fold forward. Keep your hips on top of your ankles. Inhale, come up halfway, hug your heels towards each other. And exhale, plant your hands down, lift your heels up and walk your feet together. Bend your knees into a toe squat to stretch the arches. And then perhaps lower your feet down, and for an extra little challenge, see if you can wrap your hands around your shins. This may not be accessible for everyone. And get your heels onto the ground without using your hands. And place your hands down behind you, have a seat. Lower down onto your back with your block. Place the block onto the second highest position, underneath the neck, right where your neck meets your skull, called the occipital ridge. In this way, the chin will be pulled down towards the sternum once again to stretch the back of the neck. You can decide which height of the block feels most comfortable for you, and if you'd prefer to use a blanket or a bolster. The knees can be bent with the feet standing, or you can position your legs in any way that feels most comfortable for you. You might find that turning the head from side to side could also provide some alleviation of neck pain or discomfort. Here is the opportunity where you get to explore in your own body what's going to feel the most comfortable for you. Here is a very simple and effective exercise to practice living your truth, to trust your body, to trust yourself, to know that you are safe and supported, and in this moment, nothing is going to harm you. Eventually, you might find that you can remove the block and lie down onto your back for our final position, corpse pose, Shavasana. Once on your back, gently sway the head side to side and notice how your skull traces along the floor. Find the center point between the two sides and let your head rest at center. Make any adjustments here so that you are comfortable, whether that means using props to assist with relaxation, or tucking the shoulders, or lengthening the legs and the arms so that there's space between the groin and the armpits. Then as you inhale, fill up your lungs with air. As As you exhale, stick your tongue out and breathe out with a loud, audible sound. And then rest in stillness. bring air into your body intentionally and let go and breathe out air intentionally. You can wiggle your fingers and your toes or reach your arms over your head for a full stretch. Eventually, you can roll onto one side of your body for fetal position. In your own time, will you come up to a seated pose to close our practice together today? Can you once again observe the quality of your breath and notice if anything has changed? Even if you can't pinpoint what it is, can you sense a difference in your body from when you first started this practice? Maybe in your mind or your quality of thought? Thank you so much for taking the time to connect with your throat chakra, to dedicate this hour to yourself. Namaste. Thank you. May we all realize the awakened life together.